Hi, Joseph. Welcome to MovieJunk. How are you today?
What's going on, pal?
I can't begin to say how much of an honor it is to have you on. We have Joseph Gannascoli, who everyone knows from the hit TV show Sopranos, the capo from Sopranos. Also starred in Mickey Blue Eyes, Rob the Mob, Beer League, Men in Black 3, and just recently you were in Last Call.
Yeah, I can't say that I starred in them. I barely had a fucking line or two, but yeah, I was in them.
I can't thank you enough for joining today. The fan in me just wants to jump right into The Sopranos, but I'd like to know kind of how it all started for you. And if I'm not mistaken, prior to acting, and even to this day, you're actually a professional chef.
Yeah, I was a chef for many years, and I lived in New Orleans, lived in LA. I cooked there while I was pursuing the acting. But before the acting, I was Manhattan, at restaurants in Brooklyn, and then I sort of fell into the acting and lost my restaurant from gambling and moved to LA to pursue the acting. That's like the short story of it.
But even to today, you also do these private experiences. So where it's like Sopranos fans, and also not other aside from Sopranos fans, but you do private experiences for fans. They can book you for events.
Uh, it's usually for the husband, the father, the brother, the boyfriend, or just friends getting together that are Soprano fans. I cook. I have an assistant. I do a big antipasta, pasta dish, and then they choose either a chicken, filet mignon, or sea bass oreganata. And sometimes they get all of them. I'm there about 10 hours, and it's been really great. Really, it's unique dining, and it's good for the big fan. So it's going well.
For the right fee, would you be willing to travel to the Bay Area?
You couldn't get me to fucking go to Frisco if you fucking wouldn't go in that shithole if you paid me. Sorry.
No worries, no worries. I follow your Instagram page and I see all these lovely dishes, and you and
Yeah, no, I hear you.
yeah, no, maybe next time if I'm in New York, I can set some of those events up. But your dishes look amazing, and you and Robert Finaro, I see a lot of these wonderful dishes from both you guys.
Yeah. Yeah,
Awesome.
Bobby's quite the cook. But I'm playing around at home and coordinating for 20, 30 people is listen, I did restaurants, so 20, 30 people, but you never know what kitchen you're walking into. And so I bring a lot of my own utensils, and it's good. So don't take the shithole personally, you know what I mean? It's
Oh, no,
Frisco and New York, same shit.
no worries, no worries. No, trust me, I can
There's a
relate.
lot of scumbags running around in the streets these days.
Yeah, absolutely. And from what I remember, also, Joseph, is a few years after Sopranos, maybe back in 2012 or 13, you were also on a show, Dinner with the Food Fellas, where it had Lorraine Bracco, Vincent Pastore, Tony Darrow. So I remember because Sopranos had been done for a while. I was happy to see you guys in that show where you're having dinner talk.
Yeah, yeah. We shot a pilot. It didn't go anywhere.
Yeah. I just interviewed Paul Borghese. He said that it might come back. Is there any truth to that, or?
He's been saying that for 20 years.
No worries, no worries. Well, I'm gonna.
He's like Hyman Roth. He's like Hyman Roth, dying of the same heart attack for 20 years.
Exactly, exactly. So, Joseph, you mentioned you made the switch into to acting. Was there any motivation, or did you go into acting school, or what made you want to get into acting?
Well, I was the chef of a restaurant in Manhattan, and a waiter asked me to do this play. I auditioned for it. I got the role, and he suggested I study with a teacher. I said, you know what, this is kind of fun. I liked it. So I went with his teacher for a year and a half, and the guy was out of his mind. It was, you know, it's a 4-year thing, and I enjoyed watching him teach. Than really what he was teaching. So I had gotten out of the restaurant business to do this acting studying, and that wasn't happening. So I left that to get back into the acting. I mean, to cooking. And so I'm pretty much I like my cooking. I'm sort of self-taught.
Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, I think your first credit was in '93, and then 6 years later, you made it on Sopranos. I know you were a different character first. You were the Gino character, but I mean, not far into your career, you were already on Sopranos.
Um, yeah, yeah. Uh, First movie I ever did was Money for Nothing. I don't know when that came out. I mean, I got to LA maybe in 92, 93, and then I guess Sopranos had 99. Maybe we shot it in 97.
Yeah.
So within 7, 8 years, I got a role on The Sopranos with one scene, and thank God they brought me back for Vito.
Yeah, I mean, even though that was a smaller scene, but it was probably one of the more memorable scenes of season one, especially since the fans are big Goodfellas fans, the Sopranos cast. So there was that huge spider reference. How did you?
Right.
What was it like shooting that scene?
I mean, it was a couple of lines. I was in, I was out. I remember telling the casting director, I like, I said, I really don't want to do TV. I just want to stay with movies. And she laughed and she said, make sure you're here to audition. So I didn't even have an agent. I just happened to, call them up. They said to check him. Benicio really got me started.
Oh, nice.
Benicio del Toro helped me from the first movie I did, and he made me a lead in a short film that he directed and wrote. And um, yeah, and then he introduced me to the casting directors of The Sopranos. So he's really got me started, but also the waiter that helped me in the restaurant, who's a very dear friend now to this day. He's a working actor. He completed the 4 years with the teacher, Tim Kelleher. So he's gifted. Of course, Benicio is. So those two guys really helped.
No, that's amazing, and being able to work with Benicio del Toro. I mean, that's an excellent reference, and someone that can help you obviously break into the business. And he's one of the all-time best. Because also too, I mean, you were in that first episode, but you're also one of the longest tenured performers. I think you were in 39 or 40 episodes. You were from season one all the way to season 6A. So you're one of the longest cast members of The Sopranos.
Yeah, I made it through. Considering it went from one different character to 39 episodes, is an accomplishment. People were getting killed all the time. So I've been blessed. I've been lucky. But you make your own breaks, and brought me back as Vito, and then I had to kill Jackie Jr. in season 3, and that was big. And then I brought them the idea of making my character gay from a book I was reading, and that's what changed my life around.
Speaking about the Jackie Jr. whacking, so that scene has a lot of controversy. It's debated a lot. You're often compared to like a ninja by how fast you got in and out of there.
I didn't get fed very quickly into the car. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I know you appeared really quick, but it took you a while to get out. Actually, yeah. Now that I remember.
Yeah, but I came out of nowhere, which is hard to believe. So, yeah, that was a big end of season 3.
And if I'm not mistaken, you're also close friends with John Fiore, who plays the Gigi character.
Yeah, Johnny's my guy. Johnny's my guy.
Yeah, he was actually our very first Sopranos interview.
Oh, no kidding. I love Johnny. He's my favorite guy on the whole show.
Love him. Yeah. So were you guys already friends before you joined the show, or did you guys become friends during The Sopranos?
No, not before. During the show, we became friends.
Awesome, awesome. And so your character gets an arc. Obviously, you become captain at the end of season 4 after Ralphie gets whacked, and then in season 5, when Christopher gets upset and throws that sandwich, and you reiterate, "Hey, I'm a captain now." Your character was really growing. I mean, you were sitting side by side with Tony. You were going to the meetings in New York, and when Tony was sick in the hospital, you were floating around the idea of maybe if Tony doesn't get out of this, your character could have been the boss.
Yeah, they would set me up because I became, the big earner for Tony, and they were, building me up with the idea of, doing that to my character eventually. So, I didn't know they were going to do it. It took them 2 years, and yeah, always in meetings and made me a captain, and things were percolating, and I knew something was up. So they never actually told me they were going to do it until they did it.
One thing that I always wondered was that scene where Finn catches you and the other construction worker in the parking lot, and how you kind of force him to go to the baseball game. Were you planning to actually go to the baseball game with him to feel him out, or were you potentially planning a hit on Finn?
That's something with the intentions of the writers, how they wrote it, what they were thinking. Maybe it was to intimidate him. Maybe I liked the kid. Was Meadows' boyfriend, so I don't think anything was going to go on there. But
yeah,
maybe I wanted to be friendly and do him a favor so he wouldn't rat me out. I mean, who knows? But he never showed up, so we'll never know.
Yeah, absolutely. And you did have a lot of scenes with the late Frank Vincent. What was it like working with Frank Vincent, aka Phil Leotardo?
Well, being Raging Bull was one of my favorite movies of all time, if not the favorite. It was great to, work with him and seeing him and talking to him, and it's a shame that he's not here. Uh, he was a dapper guy. I liked him a lot, you know.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely a legend. From you mentioned Raging Bull, Goodfellas, Casino. I was so excited to see him return in the Sopranos, and you guys had a lot of really good, memorable scenes together. I remember he actually referenced you to Travolta in one scene, and I was just watching the Talking Sopranos with Michael Imperioli and Steve Sharippa yesterday, and they mentioned you. I don't know if you saw, but they mentioned you yesterday, and Michael was like, I think there's a meaning to that. They were saying that maybe, and again, I'm just repeating what they said. Were you a pretty good dancer back in the day, or?
I wasn't always this big. I was always, athletic, gym guy. Once I got into the restaurants, you don't have time for that. Then my hips went, but that was much later. I was never a dancer. I never danced, but he's a good-looking guy, and I did okay with the girls. So.
And you still are. And
yeah, I don't know if they meant, I don't know. I mean, now, they tell me that they're getting into my heavy stuff now, on the show. So they asked me, well, Steve asked me to come on, and I had a falling out with Steve. So I refused to go on the show.
Got it. Yeah, no, definitely. And yeah, I remember, I watched it yesterday, and I was like, hey, we're about to interview, and I was like, maybe I'll ask him today. So, but another question that I had. So again, your character ends up getting caught, and you go on the run. You're resorting in a suburban town, and and this is another question that I had. I remember seeing a deleted scene where you actually spoke to Tony and Sil, and they're telling you like, hey, come back, and everything will be fine, and then you kind of know, and you maybe think maybe it's a setup, and then you throw the phone away. I don't know if you remember shooting.
Yeah, no, I do. In the gazebo, I believe.
Yeah.
By the waterfall. Yeah, I don't know why that was deleted. It's always a time thing. I don't know. Maybe it didn't come out the way they wanted. I don't know why.
Yeah, and
But yeah, I remember that thing.
And a part of you, did you think that maybe there was a chance for Vito to get out of this, or you think once he was caught, or once the word was out? Because when you met with Tony at the mall, I was when I saw you come back, I was like, man, this sounds exciting. You're proposing giving him 200K, going to Atlantic City. It's a more tolerant, atmosphere. It felt like Tony was kind of in on it.
I think he would have went along with it. One is because I was his big earner.
Yeah.
Two is he said live and let live, and who are we to judge, and it's whatever year that we said it was. Things are different, but it was also no one was going to do business with him, and Tato wanted revenge for his brother. So, and it was his cousin, I believe I was married to. So all those factors, back and forth.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then ultimately, we get the scene, and it's a pretty gruesome scene in the hotel room. What was it like shooting the kill off? And actually, how does it work? I mean, do you get a message from David Chase saying, "Hey, this is going to be it," or how do you find out that you're about to get whacked?
Well, it's in the next script. I mean, it's probably coming. I tried to talk him out of it. He listened for about 5 minutes, and he just said, "You're going." So that was that.
That was it.
And I would have liked to make a couple of episodes into the sixth season, but I think it ran its course with Vito. I mean, the whole season pretty much focused on me, and if I wasn't in it, they were talking about me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All of season 6A, I mean, you were the primary focus. So, yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think the suggestion worked, and it gave your character a pretty large arc. And I actually enjoyed, kind of seeing you kind of in a different, it was more dramatic, kind of seeing in a different light than just the traditional mobster. Because it seemed like you were considering, like, hey, maybe this what life could have been outside of the mob. But I think in most cases, I think Christopher kind of sensed this too when he was thinking about leaving. You always get drawn back somehow, and then ultimately that's what leads to the demise.
Well, the whole point of suggesting the gay thing was because it's a true story from a book I was reading, and I wanted to show. Obviously, I wanted to, show I can act, prove it to myself. It's easy playing the mob thing because I grew up in Brooklyn around those guys and know how they act and talk and mannerisms, and you wanted more, more work, you wanted to make a name. So all those things factored in, and like I said, I thank God that they went ahead with it, and they changed my life.
Absolutely, yeah, and we're thankful. I mean, as a fan, I mean, you were just phenomenal on the show and one of my favorite characters. I'm sure you know that there's a prequel that's about to come out called The Many Saints of Newark. Have you had a chance to see the trailer?
Yes, I did, and I only hope it's going to be great. I mean, it looked great. I'm happy for Michael. He was at my wedding. I remember Jimmy took him. He was 8 years old, I think. It's a very, very, I don't want to say big shoes to fill, but it's tremendous pressure. And I just hope that, the movie's great. He does it. I'm sure he'll do a great job, and he's making his father proud. So it's a big undertaking. So all those new fans that it's going to attract, it'll make the people watch, the series and vice versa. So it's exciting.
Yeah, because I noticed him in the HBO show The Deuce. And when I first saw him, I was like, man, he looks really familiar because I remember seeing pictures of him when he was younger, but he was phenomenal in The Deuce. And so I'm sure he's had some time to kind of prepare for the role, and he looked really good in the trailer. But yeah, there's definitely some big shoes to fill. But I'm really excited to kind of see, a young Johnny Boy, a young Junior. Hopefully, we could see the scene where Tony and Jackie go in and attack Feach's poker game. Maybe we'll see a young version of yourself too. Hopefully, we'll see a young Vito.
Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt it. But you never know. Who knows?
Yeah.
Look forward to it. I mean, it's October 1st, so it'll be here before you know it.
And also, too, the $1 million question. What were your thoughts on the finale? Do you think Tony got whacked at the end?
I never thought so. I don't like to think that he did. I think that life just went on. I'm hoping that they didn't kill him in front of his family. I don't think he got arrested. I don't think he would, I just think that the door closed and life went on. So I never like to think that he was killed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Joseph, are you able to share with us kind of some of your upcoming projects? Are we what can fans expect from your upcoming works?
I did a pilot with the Kate Bosworth in Montana called "Bring on the Dancing Horses." Her husband is the writer, director, producer who just directed Access Sally with Al Pacino and got really good reviews. I mean, he shot this last Thanksgiving, and I'm a little surprised it hasn't been sold yet because he's got a name. He's very accomplished to begin with. So I keep waiting to hear like what's going on with it. I mean, I was in the pilot. They shot it backwards. So I believe I was the last episode that they shot. And like I said, that was November, December. So I'm waiting for it. Other than that, I'm doing the cooking and um, and some other things in the works. Nothing really big.
Awesome. Do you have any preferences now on what type of roles that you want to take at this point of your career? Do you have any preferences?
And they're not throwing rolls at me left and right. You know, it never really worked out the way I thought it was going to work out, but I made a name for myself. So if I don't do anything and I can earn money by cooking and doing what I do, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Absolutely.
You don't want to be perceived as a one-trick pony, but it is what it is. And so things come along, and I mean, if they're decent, they pay. I'll do it. As long as it's not garbage mob stuff that every Tom, Dick, and Harry thinks they're the next Scorsese. Those things turn me off. That I won't bother with.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'm excited to see your upcoming projects. Every time something comes out of yours, I always pay attention to it. Definitely want to see some more of your cooking. And again, I originally was just getting super mouth was just getting watery from all the dishes that I was seeing you make. And yeah, just excited to kind of see what's in store. Joseph, I do want to be respectful of your time. I know I can talk to you for hours about The Sopranos, but I want to just again thank you for joining today, and definitely again super excited to kind of learn a little bit more around the Sopranos journey, learn more about some of these different scenarios that you had and some more backstory, and just want to thank you again for joining. If you asked me back at the wrap up of season 6 that we'd be doing the session, I'd say you're crazy, but I'm super honored to have you on today.
How long have you had this podcast?
So we actually started last year, and initially we started doing a lot of interviews with the Karate Kid and Cobra Kai cast, and then we segued into the Sopranos, and then now it's kind of just grown to different movies and TV shows. I think we're right around 50 or 60 interviews, so it's definitely grown a lot this past year, and started during COVID, and it's continued to grow this past year. So it's been a tremendous honor to meet with folks like yourself, and being a huge Sopranos fan, love to get a chance to be able to meet with you guys.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I don't do a lot of these. I got asked a lot, because they don't really serve any purpose for me. I mean, it's not like someone's going to book me for a cooking party or put me in a movie. So if it gets a little like, what am I going to talk about? I mean, I've been talking about the show now in my role for 13 years.
Yeah.
So, and then that happens to, I guess, to a lot of actors, but I don't do a lot. But I mean, I don't want to say persistent, but you kept after it. You were respectful, and I said, all right, let's just do it. But I get up at 5 in the morning. I play golf, and I played this morning. It's hot. I had some construction going on at the house, and I'm tired. That's why I wanted to do it a little earlier. But I said, all right, let's do it. And we get it done. So it's pretty pain-free, and you came prepared. Some people don't, which is annoying. But you were good. So I wish you good luck.
I really appreciate it. And one thing that I forgot to mention, you're also available on Cameo, right? So if fans want to hear some exclusive Vito lines, they can reach you on Cameo as well, right?
Yeah, I enjoy doing the cameos. I mean, they just give me a few details on what they want, and I kind of wing it and may have fun with it. And it's been really good. I've been on about a year and a half, and tremendous reviews, and people love them, and it's fun. I like that. Yeah. So cameo's good.
Since I got you on, I got to ask for one request. One of my favorite lines of yours from The Sopranos is in season 6, where you're sitting down with Eugene, and you're like, "Look at this guy, members only. When you start wearing that?" Can I bug you to say that line?
Look at this guy, members only. When did you start wearing that?
Love it. I love
And
it.
I grew up with those jackets. I know those jackets.
Yeah.
That was a Brooklyn thing.
That's probably the number one line that I quote from Sopranos is members only. I try to say it the way you say it, and I love it. Love it. So super excited that I was able to get you to say it on here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And it's not really a requested line that much. I mean, it's usually what about my bread? And I was Gino. Of course, the Johnny cakes. People's favorite scene is when I'm working and looking at my watch, and I'm waiting to taste the sandwiches that Jim made, and it's only 10 o'clock, and I'm looking at the sun and this and that. People do that. They say that's happened to me so many times. I don't want to look at the clock, and that's one of their favorite scenes. Yeah. So when I do these parties, I don't really like watching the show. One is I don't like to see, I had double hip replacement as soon as they killed me. That was a real walk. I was in a lot of pain. A lot of pain. I couldn't walk. I was doing 10, 12 Advils a day. But so I don't like to see the pain because it brings back memories, and I don't like seeing Jimmy on the show. So yeah, but when I did, they usually play season 6, and as I'm watching the show, it brings back memories. Of course, John Costello. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people really aren't with us anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot of cast members that are gone. I mean, you mentioned James Gandolfini, Frank Vincent, uh, Tony Lip. I mean, there's a bunch of folks that are gone, but they left us.
Ginny Sack.
Yeah, yeah.
Ginny Sack, John Costello. That's probably, I mean, the uncle in the Rhode Island, one of the brothers that they go to see. I forgot his name. Filiatoto's henchman with the eye.
Oh yeah.
Craig Antonacci. I mean, if you go down for that, it's got to be 15, maybe 15 people. Carmela's father, Tom DeAngelis.
DeAngelis.
Yeah. So be interesting to see how many are out with us.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you see here, but we have the Sopranos cookbook. Have you thought about writing, or maybe you already have? Do you have any cookbooks or any?
I do. I wrote a cookbook novel called A Meal to Die For. Came out in 06 by St. Martin's Press. It did well. It's a unique because it's loosely based on my life as a chef who's a gambler, wants to be a great chef. Yeah, it's called A Meal to Die For. And but it's been out quite some time.
And it's available on Amazon?
Yeah. You know what? Sometimes they can't find them. They're sold out. And like I said, it's been out since '06. People read it and they put it back up, and then you'll see my signature. I wrote it to somebody, but I always thought it would have made a great movie. It's a good food movie. So not too many good food movies out there.
Yeah, I'm gonna
But
grab it
yeah,
and put it over here. So I'm gonna order it and put it up in the collection.
well, you could also send it to me and I'll sign it and then send it back. Self-addressed envelope,
That'd be awesome. That'd be
Think
awesome.
about that if you can get it. And yeah. So see, you got me talking.
Awesome. Well, we'll save some more for round two. And Joseph, again, I can't thank you enough for joining today. It's a tremendous honor of mine. Can't wait to see some of your upcoming projects as well that you mentioned, and excited to share our session with the fans.
All right, pal. Best of luck. Be well. And thank you.
Thank you very much. Take care.
All right.